Hello, it's wonderful to have all of you back here with us. Today, in the series of Karma, Destiny, and Choice, we are looking at the fascinating subject of what is love in the context of karma. Hello, Sister Denise.
Hello, nice to be here.
Yeah, nice to have you back. So, love. Love makes the world go round. Love is the reason why most of us wake up in the morning so that we can experience more love. There are many across the planet who believe if their lives do not have any love, what is the point of being alive? So love is something that we have a deep connection with, or rather it has a connection with us from the time we're born until the day we die. What does love mean as far as the law of karma is concerned?
Well, it's a very beautiful thing because pure karma and love is the same thing.
What you've just done is dropped one of those bombs, okay? Because many people don't do pure love. They do the opposite of pure love, gleefully, every day, as much as possible, because that's how we're programmed.
But when you do impure love, then why it's called impure love is because it creates karmic bondage.
Okay, I want to backtrack there a bit, okay? What you are implying is that there's more than one kind of love.
There are many things that go by the name of love. And what we need to do is just categorize the different types of things and see this is pure love, this is impure love, this is masquerading as love, this is violence in the name of love. There are many different things which claim the word love, but which are not really love, in the sense of the meaning of love is that you give total benefit to the other person.
That is a very beautiful definition. In light of what the world has become, there are far too many examples of selfish love, not selfless love.
Well, selfish love is not love. Selfish love is taking advantage of another person. That's not really love. You know, in Spanish, when you want to say I love you, you say yo te quiero, which means I want you, which means I want to eat you, you know, devour you, consume you. And so in that way, love is satisfying your appetites, whereas love is supposed to be giving, not taking. But because people desire to be satisfied, any activity that gets them to feel satisfied, they'll call it love. But it's really that they want someone else to do something for them. But love is really what you do for someone else.
Very few people see it that way. Okay, so there's someone listening to you right now who is in need of some love and who wants some love.
Well, most people are absolutely starved of love.
How so?
Partly because they didn't really get adequate love from their mother, their father, partly because they come from dysfunctional families where there is no love, partly because they have been used and abused in the name of love. It's the opposite of love. Many people have just not had the nurturing. Love is about nurturing, and so you need a great deal of nurturing. And if you have received the nurturing that you have a right to, then you're normal. But if you haven't, then you remain hungry for the rest of your life.
When I was younger, I read Louise Hayes. She writes very prolifically on the importance of self-love. Whilst I fully believe in the legitimacy of what that wonderful lady said, my question to you is it enough?
It's very important to be able to love yourself, but I think that you need more than that. If you don't love yourself, you will not permit yourself to take love from anyone else, and also you will not permit yourself to receive love from God. So many people are just blocked off from receiving love, and they are hungry but blocked. So there's a very uncomfortable situation, because to receive love you have to open up, and if you open up, then it's possible someone may hurt you. And so if you've been hurt, you don't want to open up, and so you don't receive love. So it gets quite complicated. So the healing process in regard to love, you open up, you have to trust, and trust someone with the fragile, delicate thing called your heart. And sometimes people will abuse that trust, and they will stick a knife in, and then you'll never open it again. So opening up yourself, opening up your heart, opening up to God, and then also let there be a flow. God is an incredible source of vast love.
On the subject of human relationships, I had once the opportunity of hearing Daddy Janki say that we must be careful whose love we accept. I found those words astounding. What does that mean?
You want the love you accept to be genuine, because a lot of times people will love you and there's a hidden agenda behind it. And if you accept it, it means you buy into the hidden agenda that you don't find out about until after you've signed the contract, and then you would regret it. That's what she meant.
We live in a world where love and lust have become acquainted.
They're indistinguishable for most people.
Tell us what that is about within the context of the law of karma.
Well, in the law of karma, what it says, there's one famous Indian scripture called Kama Sutra.
Oh yeah, we all know about that.
Right.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? The bondage of lust. So these are threads, and when you engage in a lust-based relationship, you get tied and tied and tied and tied and tied, and you can't come out. So you lose your freedom. The other thing that happens when you engage in lustful love is that you lose your spiritual power. But from extraordinary, you just fizzle out and become ordinary.
Yeah, here's the thing about that, Sister Denise. People crave that type of relationship because people crave intimacy.
Yes.
People crave the feeling of belonging. Parents, the good type, want to see their children happily married because there's someone to take care of you when I'm gone. People want to have children. Lust has a purpose.
Exactly.
Here's the thing, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
That's
What's
right.
up with that?
Well, we need to look at it in detail. Lust comes together with falling in love.
Not necessarily.
Anyway, it's connected. And this is because a person is physically attracted. And you're physically attracted to someone, and you may be attracted to their body, their personality, how they behave, how they talk, how they sing, lots and lots of different aspects of a person. You just find it enchanting, and you get enchanted, and then you decide you want to have a close relationship, and you want to live together forever, make a family, have children, whatever. But there's karma involved in that. And what I mean by this is that this phenomenon of a physical attraction between two people is an instrument of the law of karma to get people who have a deep karmic account with each other to get so tied up with each other that when it's inextricable, then the debt starts coming up for payment, and from being an attraction, it turns into a repulsion. This is the reason why the divorce rate is high, because you had mentioned on another occasion that the divorce rate is phenomenally high all over the world. So people get attracted, they get tied up, they get caught in with each other, and then they just need to pull away, and in the process of that they make each other suffer a lot. And so the process of falling in love is absolutely connected with the process of falling out of love, which is that you, after a while, you really hate that person. And you even get love-hate relationships where you can't live with the person, you can't live without them.
Are you saying that every lustful relationship and the planet is destined for that doom?
I'm afraid so.
This need to want to be loved, is it a need or is it a weakness?
No, it's a need.
So within spirituality, how do I fulfill this need that will not cause me to incur loss in the future?
At the present time, it's a time of karmic settlement. It's also a time when people are very weak and very empty. And the one commodity that is most needed is love. Everybody wants to be loved. And when they see someone who might be giving them a lot of love, they feel love for that person. As it gets, the realities and the feelings get mixed up. So you want to be loved, you want to be nurtured, you want to be appreciated, all of these things, because you are empty. And God says to humanity, listen, guys, all of you are empty, and you cannot fill from each other, no matter how much you try, or how hard you try, or for how long you try. You cannot fill from someone who's empty. And people try to do that. You try to fill from me, I try to fill from you, both get depleted, and then this sets up dissatisfaction and maybe sometimes jealousy, maybe anger, maybe violence. Intimacy can easily turn into domestic violence. And this is the continuum of trying to get love from someone who cannot provide you with love. And you take their energy, their spiritual energy, through the process of lust. You lose your energy, they lose their energy, you both take energy from each other which disappears, and you both end up empty, and very dissatisfied. And then that turns into anger, and it turns into quarreling, it turns into violence, it turns into sometimes fatal arguments. So what God says is, look, you're hungry for love, you're weak. I am the ocean. I've got enough love to satisfy every soul on earth. All you have to do is plug in and start taking that energy of love from me, and take as much as you want for as long as you want. I'm there for you in every relationship, whatever you want. You want a mother's love, you want a father's love, you want a child's love, you want a beloved's love, whatever kind of love you want, I will give it to you. And if you do this, then you will satisfy your craving, your deep neediness for love. And then the next step is you'll be able to be a conduit so that God's love can reach to all the people who are not able to plug in directly, but they can benefit from this conduit that you become. This is pure love.
When you talk about the wrong type of love creating negative karma for the soul, why is it that the wrong type of love feels so good? That causes humanity to search for it again and again, because it has a feel-good factor to it.
Oh, it's rather like heroin. That feels good too.
So the wrong type of love is a drug?
There's even the 12-step program for Sex and Love Anonymous. People who are sexually addicted. You know, you crave, you take, it's never enough, it's always a problem. Addiction. You're trying to be satisfied, you're trying to fill a hole in your soul that cannot be filled with sense gratification. You just get a moment of ecstasy followed by, you know, a deep low, and depression and this and that. So many things happen when people don't get their craving fulfilled, and they have to have more and more in order to have less and less of feelings of satisfaction.
So what does one do then? Just examine your life and say, is all the love I have in my life, is it spiritually or karmically beneficial to me? Does one have to take stock?
Bring God into your life. Because you're empty, you need spiritual energy. Because you're needy, you need that energy to fill that emptiness. And I think that as you become full, as your needs get fulfilled, this is deep spiritual needs, it gives you energy, it gives you strength to be able to start doing things from the motivation of true love. That is, you want to benefit someone, you care, you're kind, you're attentive, you give love, but you do not make the person depend on you. It's a love that is natural, that frees and that keeps you free. You do not try and be like a codependent who just takes hostages. You are nice to people, but you're not nice to people because you want something back. This is why Daddy Yankee was saying, be careful whose love you accept, because they're going to take something back 1,000,000 times more than what they gave. You know, you'll find yourself in prison.
Speaking of prison, there are many who are trapped, who are behind visible or invisible bars in what they once thought was love, but whose lives have become a total nightmare as a result of accepting the wrong type of what they thought was love.
Well, this is the thing, the attraction followed by a repulsion.
Okay, is there a way out?
If you can create a very powerful connection with God and draw the energy of love and light and power and everything from God, and keep yourself sustained and filled, then you're not going to fall into those traps because there's no attraction. Marriage is a contract, and it's a contract between two people who decide to share a life, to share a place, to make children, etc., etc. It's not designed to be a jail.
No, it's not.
But it becomes that because of the karma, because of the neediness, because of everybody trying to abuse everybody. So what God is advocating is keep yourself to yourself and really work on yourself, develop yourself, fill yourself until you are at a point where you're not going to start trying to fill yourself from another human being, because that is not what's supposed to be going on.
Why is it that despite the evidence to the contrary, despite the world being filled with broken relationships, broken marriages, and all sorts of horrors within the context of relationships, why is it that the fairy tale of happily ever after is still so much alive in the minds of practically everyone on the planet?
I think it's because the thought leaders, the social leaders want to perpetuate it and they want to perpetuate it, because if they don't, then humanity will fizzle out. Because if everybody just stays alone and they don't go for this hoax, then there'll be no more humanity. This is what the argument is. And so they perpetuate it. And there's so many people who are deluded, and they're just looking for love. And, you know, the advertising industry uses it, the movie industry uses it. It's all about find some beautiful, marvelous woman or man, and you will live happily ever after. And it's just lies. And they just like those lies. And they want the lie. And they think, just for me, it won't be a lie.
Within relationships, you hear people use the words, if it's, despite the fact that it's wrong, it feels so right, so I'm doing it anyway. And this is why myriads of people have extramarital relationships, connect with the wrong person, and go against their own conscience, and sometimes break even the laws of their country in search or in their quest for love. As far as love is concerned, can something that's wrong ever be right?
How is that?
Is having an affair ever justifiable?
It depends on your moral code. That's a matter of social mores and your moral code, and the contract that you make with your spouse. Marriage is a contract. I mean, some people have monogamy, some people have polygamy. There's different arrangements in different parts of the world. And in many parts of the world, it's understood that there will be extramarital relationships, so different communities deal with it in different ways. But in spiritual practice, you have to ask yourself, okay, what do I want? And if you want to be free, and if you want to be a person who is fulfilled, then your source of everything that you need in order to be fulfilled and in order to be free from all your accounts and your bondage, that is the being of God. And so you need to explore that, and then have relationships with others which can even be very close, very deep, very intimate, but which don't involve getting into trouble because of use and abuse, or using and taking somebody's energy, or whatever. It has to be a genuine, pure, chaste love.
There are those on the planet who fear love because of past trauma. What are your words for such an individual?
Well, I think that they would not have been traumatized by God. They might have been traumatized by a religious environment or a dysfunctional family environment. But if they can turn their attention to the Supreme Being, the source of love itself, and explore that connection, I think that that will open up something very beautiful for them. Because God is not going to fail you, or betray you, or reject you, or abuse you.
Sister Denise, define pure love for us.
Pure love is where you're not looking for anything in return. You're not trying to take possession of someone. You just are sharing your heart and giving. And you're not giving because you want to get something back, and you're not giving overmuch. Whatever is, natural and spontaneous, and what you feel, you share that. Sometimes people do it because they feel sorry for someone. That's not love. Sometimes they do it because they feel guilty about something. That's not really pure love. It just has to be like a child, A child will be loving, affectionate, natural, and that's pure love.
Most of the planet is in need of healing. How does pure love heal the soul?
Pure love is very healing, because I think a lot of the pain and trauma and the wounds are wounds of the heart, where there's been betrayal, there's been neglect, there's been disregard, there's been rejection, all these things. And so pure love is a very beautiful vibration that definitely heals those wounds.
That's a sweet note on which to bid you farewell. And you too, audience. Sister Denise has taken us through what pure love means in the context of the law of karma, a very powerful message. And I do leave you with the words of the head of the Brahma Kumaris, Daddy Janki, who said, "Be careful whose love you accept." Very powerful message from our speaker, and I do wish you a life filled with pure love. Take care and goodbye.